Hello there folks, and welcome back to Space Engineers, and as you can see I managed to get the engines started. Except for the bottom ones, because I made a pretty stupid mistake, but we'll take a look at that in a little bit. Very fixable though. Okay, so I managed to get all the ice in here. Yeah, I kind of forgot about that. I'm like, screw it, it's probably going to take too long to build something that would meet up with that, so I just flew it all in here via, you know, carrying it, which was kind of a pain in the butt, but we got it. In the long run, I'm actually going to turn off my hydrogen engines because I don't want to waste any extra hydrogen if we don't have to. I would also like to see how much hydrogen we have. Alright. So let's look at our hydrogen thrusters. We're going to turn all of these off. There we go. Very nice. And if we head on down... Actually, before we head on down, I would like to just take a wee look and see how much we have in our tanks themselves. Some of these hydrogen tanks are completely empty. In fact, most of them are volume 0. Well, that's their... Let's take a look at the hydrogen tanks. That's very strange. None of them have any volume in it. Yet our engines were lighting. I'll have to take a look at that. Scratch that. It does say that it is somewhat filled, and all of them are somewhat filled. They're around 2, almost 3% filled, all of them, which means that we have a lot of more hydrogen to go before they are completely filled up. That being said, was that... They were shooting up in the air, weren't they? Okay, that's not cool. They're raining Saberoids. I don't know what's happening. I am super done. It's raining Saberoids. No. Since when is that a thing? You guys saw that, right? Oh, okay. Well, that's a good of time as any to start building the next thing that I wanted to build, which is a roof on that, or a cockpit on the ship. Also, we need a medical bay in there because, well, we're going to be out in the rigors of space all by our lonesome. Oh, also, the reason that these weren't lighting up, fairly simple. I just never finished these. We just need some interior plate and small steel tubes. Okay, well, I will get to that. What the heck is happening? Who is spawning these on me? This is not cool. And yes, there's another one I didn't quite finish. I don't think it's safe to be outside anymore. It's raining Saberoids. Oh, Lord. Is this some sort of newfangled bug, or is this like something that they added in the game as a quote-unquote feature? Oh, man. Alright, well, let's get that going. We're going to need some medical components as well. Okay, there we go. Probably need more than that. But we also need some of that. Okay. Let's go to our inventory, find that assembler. Whoops, that's not how you spell it. That is how you spell it. Or I wonder, are the Saberoids just spawning, like, up there? But that doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna have to be very careful. Oh man, it's a good thing we have a Gatling turret over here. Otherwise, God knows what would happen. I think somebody's just playing a trick on me. Maybe it's, one of the admins or something. He's like, hey, I'm going to spawn some Saberoids right on top of you. Alright, anyhow. There we go. Let's move ourselves up a wee bit. And let's see. Actually, this is kind of crappy. Usually there's, you know, the dotted line so you can... Or the LEDs so you can see how much hydrogen is in each tank, but we kind of covered them up. I wonder... Nah, I'm not going to uncover them just because that would be a pain in the butt. But, speaking of butts, we do have a lot of stuff just simply being refined at the moment. And when I say stuff, I mean ice. So I'm just going to take a look at the control panel again and look at our hydrogen tanks. Yeah, we're all the way up to 4%. And let's look. If I go to our inventory and look at our, what is it, our generator, we still have 64,000 ice to go through. So we're going to be set. Totally set. I should also be making sure that the oxygen generator is, or the oxygen tank is getting filled. Auto refill. There we go. It's not filled at all, though. That's... Okay. I am going to toggle this block off, see why it's not filling, and be right back. Alright, problem solved. It seems as though I didn't finish the ship I thought I did. Apparently I forgot a lot of conveyors, but now we should be refilling the oxygen tank, which is much, much better. Alright, good thing I checked that. Alright. Now, let us get... I hear my guns going off, but apparently no, they're on the ground this time. Alright, well... All strangeness aside, we're going to need to produce a couple of more things. So, large blocks. We are going to want our... A cryo chamber might take up less space, but I think we're still going to want the full medical bay. Yeah, we're probably going to want the full medical bay. So, we should have enough silver. I believe it's just not refined yet. We're going to need silver when we get to the medical components. Or actually, I think we do have silver. It's just not inside of the assembler, but it'll transport in there automatically. Alright, then we're going to need a whole bunch of windows. So I'm just going to build, like... Well, that's a bit excessive, but that will do just fine. Alright. So, let's go to the inventory and grab our stuff for our assembler. Or for that, rather. Alright. Now, let's find a location for our medical bay. We're also going to want a door up here somewhere. So, let's get that door. We're going to want the airtight door, because the airtight, or the sliding doors are just nice. I mean, this section of ship isn't going to be airtight. In fact, none of this ship is going to be airtight. It's just going to kind of exist. And then we need the medical bay. It's going to be kind of tricky fitting that in here. There we go. Alright, how are we going to fit this in here? Yes, indeed. How? We might be able to do something like that. Is that actually going to get in the way of our... Yeah, it's going to get in the way of... Aha! I have an idea. What we're going to do is we are going to switch this around so that it's pointing in this direction. So, there... Oh, well, there goes all my stuff. Oh, well. And let's get that passage back. And let's put it right here. There we go. And let's fill this up so we can grab the components that we dropped. Whee! Okay. The world of perpetual night. I swear, this world, whenever I'm recording, is like, yeah, it was sun before, but nope, now we're gonna be nighttime. It just does that. Alright, there we go. The passage is complete. Now we have this. Much better. Alright, and where are we going to put our door? I think our door can go right here. Yeah, right there. We need some steel plate, though. So we're going to have our door there, our passage there, our medical room here. We're going to have an archway going like that, and then the back side is, there's going to be no windows on the back because it really doesn't need to be. And this is all going to be a window as well as above us because we're going to need to see where we're going. Alright. We don't need that many of those. We need metal grids and steel plate. And actually, I suppose I should have mentioned this earlier. I think we might actually be able to leave this planet in probably 1 or 2 more episodes. So, get your requests in for what we should be doing while we have our limited time left here, because we're not going to be here for much longer. So, if you have any good ideas of what we could be doing, should be doing, let me know, because we're not going to be here much longer. Alright. And let's start to build this. I should make sure I have enough hydrogen fuel, because if I run out of hydrogen here, I am super dead. Okay, yeah, I have 1.5 hydrogen tanks left, so we should be fine. There we go. I think that is all we need for steel plates, or steel blocks, rather. Ugh. And we're going to put one there. One like this. There we go. Actually, it's going to be a really big cockpit. Well, whatever. I keep on wanting to look up now that I hear the Gatling turrets firing. I'm just afraid that one of these days that one of those Saberoids is going to land on top of me, and I don't like spiders, let alone spiders that are twice the size of my body. There we go, and one more ought to do the trick. And then up here we can put our antenna. Alright, cool. And we will do the same thing over here. This should be a relatively square base, so it should be easy to do. Yep, there we go. Perfect. Alright. And I think I'm going to finish the rest of that off screen in a time-lapse sequence, as well as our windows, which are currently being made. And I can probably finish this at a later date as well. Well, not at a later date, but when the time-lapse sequence is going on. I would like to see how our hydrogen tanks are coming along, though, because we might have to take one more trip to that area and grab some more ice. Hydrogen tanks, we are only 4% full. That is not much. Oh yeah, that's right. I turned my generator off, but we can turn that back on. And now our oxygen tank should be filling. Should be. Well, I will look into that further, but right now it's time for that time lapse, and we're going to probably wait for day for that because I would like you to actually see what's going on. So I will see you guys back when we are done. Haha! We got it all finished. In fact, I did a lot more work than I thought I was going to do. So, cockpits all completed, except for those are in the reverse order. However, I kind of like the fact that these are... the tint is facing in the inside, because it actually makes it look like this ship has eyes. I think it looks kind of cool, so I might keep it like that. I might not. Anywho, here is our cockpit. Quite good visibility. Good upward-facing visibility, side-facing visibility, great forward and even down-facing visibility. So that is good. And when we head on down here, we have our engineering section, which is actually all walled off now because we're going to put engines here, ion engines. They're not completed, but they will be. Also, as you can see, oxygen tank is all hooked up. I completely neglected to remember that the oxygen tank was not actually hooked up to the conveyor system. It had a conveyor on it, but it was not hooked up to the overall conveyor system, so I fixed that. And it is still raining Saberoids. What a hellish planet. Time to leave. And for the first time in a long time, it's actually morning out, not evening, which is a nice change of pace. So let's take a look around. So I added a couple of ion thruster packs to the side here, which will... Oh, I thought I saw some artifacting. Never mind. So, as you can see, I even finished a couple of ion engines, but we're going to have to go back to our original ship and grind away some thrust components. There are plenty of thrust components on that ship, so we will be perfectly fine. And if I go over here, we also put a beacon right there because we're going to want to be able to find our ship if we decide to go away from it for a while. We still want to be able to find where it is. Nothing much on the bottom except for a couple of new ion engines, because eventually we're going to run out of hydrogen unless we, keep on finding ice out there in the blackness, which we might be able to, but I don't want to rely on it. So, yep. We have some ion engines. I should probably be putting a nuclear engine on here, or a nuclear power plant on here somewhere. In fact, I will at some point in time. But not right now. Ooh, there is a Saberoid there, so let's grab what it has on it. Because we are once again running kind of lowish on components, so yep. Alright, so there is our rocket. We're going to be leaving this planet quite soon. That was just a little update, so next episode, I guess we're going back to our ship, grabbing a whole bunch of construction components. So, make sure to leave your comments on what we should be doing for the coming episode. So thank you folks for watching. That'll be it for this episode, and I will see you folks next time.